Yeah, there we go. Okay, I have bars now.
All right. And we're back.
We're back. Critical Role stole yours. You're gonna give your subscription to Critical Role, but not us. I wanted a VOD at the park. But you could have our VODs that are exclusive to nowhere because it's everywhere.
We're like the meta when everything's broken. Nothing is broken.
Nothing's broken if it ain't broken. All right, let's do this. Let's do this thing. Let's go. As soon as we start, Hyper's gonna come in here too.
Perfectly balanced, as all things should be.
Maximum effort. In this world, surrender.
He's out of line, but he's right. Now it's Bucky. You don't like a fair fight.
I think you're wrong. Which part? All of it.
Then you're the only superhero in the world.
Touche.
Oh no, I lost Sam. Oh, there you were. Okay. Like your picture wasn't there for a minute. I was like, oh no, like it was very much just. All right, welcome to the Rogue Ages podcast, a place where we are disorganized more than your closet. I mean, I bet some people probably are like. I mean, actually, that's probably more true in any sense because of the fact that if people are more organized with their stuff, then it's obviously true.
Right.
And it's kind of hard
And
to
if
beat.
they're really disorganized, then it's just hilarious.
Yeah, it's just funny. Like, does anybody like have like one of those closets that like they open it and like stuff just comes piling out onto them?
Only like 2 days after a tournament when I have to like a tournament that
You
I'm
just throw
hosting,
it back in
when I
there.
have to like throw everything back in there. It's like
So what you're saying
before or
is
2 days after.
what you're saying is currently it's a
It's actually doing pretty good right now. I reorganized.
There you go.
I did the office move when I moved my my stations.
That's fair.
We rotated, and the closet got organized, and it's mostly still organized.
Well, there you go.
Hosted a tournament since then, though. So
fair enough. All right, well, welcome back. You missed out on last week because you were out there.
I did. What did you
taking
guys
names?
Do? Did you guys do something? Was I? I mean, I was the last wizard standing. That's about the only claim to fame I have from LVO.
I mean, that's something.
Yeah, one of 3 wizards. The only
At
one
least,
who didn't quit.
At least you went. You know, like
That's right.
You went.
I
You
went,
represented.
I played my 6 games. That's right.
No. How was? Let's try to like not go too far down that rabbit hole. But like, how was LVO?
It was awesome. I loved every second of it. Like, I would say that I know that some people who make content about this game and others, you know, like if the biggest apple is no longer on the table, they lose all sorts of interest. I've personally had some of my best tournaments in the fair to middling to lower end tables, and that's where I spent most of LVO. So it was a hoot. I love playing Sooner. I wish that I could stop losing to him. But since this was basically like a giant cut, like it made perfect sense that I lost my first round against Sooner, and we just kind of went from there. I salvaged it for round 2. So I went 3-3, right? Just in case anybody was unclear on that. I played Craigslist and brought great shame to it by not going undefeated on the day, like I'm sure Craig would have. And I had a really good time. My OG Strange went 2-0. My Supreme Strange went 1-3. So
is OG better than Supreme? Is that what we're taking away here?
I believe the data speaks for itself. No, it was a great time. It was a well-run event. I've never played in an event that was as generous with the round timers, right? Because we basically had 3 hours to do a 2-hour round. And the only time I've done anything like that was when we did the online 1-day events, where we basically did the same thing, but it was like you had 3 hours to like set up your game and stand at your computer, so it wasn't exactly the same as like being in Las Vegas at a hotel at a con. So it was plenty of time to do anything you wanted to do except for leave the casino, which was like all I wanted to do the entire time we were there. I finally got to on like Sunday night before I left for the airport again.
I want to experience the warm air.
Sunshine, something. The old Vegas tan, right, where you get paler. It was a hoot. I hope I have an opportunity to go back again next year. But it was fun. I didn't get in until late on Friday, so I missed a lot of that LCQ energy. But it was cool to you know just be a part of everything.
No, fair
That's the
enough.
great thing about those things.
Awesome. All right. Everybody's favorite segment, hot takes, cold drinks. What you got?
I have the blueprint tonight from Birds Fly South. It's a local Greenville thing.
Ooh,
It's good.
what,
It's a
what's it?
IPA
Is
with
it
guava.
is
It's fruity.
with
It's a fruity
guava?
IPA.
So it's not like overly hoppy. I might actually like that one though.
Yeah, it's it's not sour. It's very fruity and it's a little bitter. It's good.
So it's like sour, but without being tart.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay. Okay. I might like one of those. Okay. I got a good Dr Pepper with some rum.
Nice.
Yeah.
Man's drink.
Mhm. Mhm.
Especially when you drink it out of a cup like that. And you got the
Yeah.
full blown metal stein to drink something
It's
out of. It's a
my
pretty good spot.
it's my Nova open cup.
Aw. I still use my metal ice cube they gave me every now and then.
Every now and then. All right. So the reason why we bring everybody here today, the reason why we asked you to come here, everybody, uh,
Come gather around the campfire.
is we're gonna talk about
Circle time.
what is in your toolbox. We keep having these discussions about value and like looking at your roster and all this kind of stuff and like some internal reflection, I guess is a good word for it. Kind of looking back at like the interview that we had with AMG, if you kind of think about like their discussion with Colossus and Lizard and who was the other one?
Luke Cage.
Cage. Like they kind of like really like alluded to the fact that like characters are very much designed with like a specific role in mind. I know we talk about like role players, like what you want your characters to be doing and all this, but like if you really like get down to like I guess like the brass tacks of like character design, you're really looking at these characters are designed for a very specific purpose. And I think that's something that's cool about MCP that we kind of maybe gloss over and kind of take for granted is literally the fact that like with all these superheroes, AMG can really get away with like truly making every single character a toolbox character and doing it pretty well, but like and not making it extremely obvious what the toolbox actually is or like specific tool. Like let's say Colossus is a Phillips screwdriver and Luke Cage is a Stanley. For those of you that don't know, Stanley is a flat tip and a Phillips is a cross tip. I gotta make sure I clarify that. Anyways, but like the point is I feel like a lot of times you get like not just like everybody, like I do it, you do it, everybody does it, gets shoehorned into this character is this good, like this character does this is good, it's a good character, and it's like okay, well what's that character actually doing for you? Well, they just do everything. Like do they really like what is this character doing? Like who off the top of your head is a character that just does everything?
Dr. Voodoo.
Dr. Voodoo. All right. But like let's look at like what is his specific tool design purpose? And it's like
He's,
objective denial.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's like
denial.
objective denial and help you with your game plan towards objectives. It just so happens that he may or may not have like a double-sided screwdriver that can like go to a socket wrench as well and can start dealing out some damage. But like the point is like you look at Dr. Voodoo, who's commonly regarded as like, hey, this character is like just really good. You should just take him because he's good. Well, it's like,
Yeah.
why are you taking him and why is he good? Well, he's good because he's giving me objective denial and progressing my game plan towards an end state, which I think is something that I like. Yes, go ahead.
And a mystic attack. And a mystic attack. He's giving you
And a mystic
much
attack.
needed mystic attack at 4th threat.
But I think it's something that like kind of gets glossed over too much. Do you agree with this, or do you think I'm kind of like going into the weeds a little too much?
I do not think you're going into the weeds a little too much. I think that there are characters. So I feel like for me, my perspective is like this is kind of like when we call a character a finesse character. Like, oh, that's Ancient One, Corset Peter Parker, right? Like these are almost universally referred to as finesse pieces, which usually
Hmm.
means you have to know what you're doing with them, or scalpel, right? Like, oh, that's a scalpel, right? That's the other way we very nicely say that this is not like a blunt instrument. It takes a little bit of practice, takes a little bit of reps and familiarity to get the most out of their kit. Now, I don't think it means that you can't use them in a lot of situations, but it does mean that you kind of need to know what what they're good at, how they excel at it. Voodoo's a lot more plug and play for that matter. You're like, oh, I need a mystic attack on a fourth whip body. Hey, there it is. Also comes with this amazing kit of scoring denial. I throw you off this point, make this guy not count, uh, and drop all your stuff. So no, I don't think you're in the weeds. I just think that there are definitely units that you can look at and you're like, okay, this is a really big deal. So let's take an example from Doctor Voodoo that's like where he's not all that hot, right? So even though he's got a throw and the objective denial, he still isn't all that great at pay to flips because he's only rolling 2 dice, right? So he's got
Hmm.
you know not the best odds, even if it's an uncontested secure. He's got plenty of time to stand around on that point and roll at it quite a few times. But number one, maybe there's better uses for his power, and number two, that's not really what you want to do with Voodoo. You don't bring him to shore up your flip secure game. You're like, well, I think I'm going to bring Voodoo anyway because he's just that good, or my team needs him, or you as a player, I'm guilty of this too. You as a player, like, oh, I need my crutch.
Yeah. Well, and that
So
kind of like comes into my next point, was like are we shoehorning ourselves into too specific of list building and taking what's quote unquote good and missing out on specific tools that might actually be helping our roster?
I think that largely, yes. So, I mean, not to harken us back to what I did at LVO, but this was the first time I'd ever played a list that wasn't basically my own brain style, my own
Mm.
brainchild. I've been heavily inspired by people, and I've collaborated on lists with other players before, but I've never just like straight up taken someone's roster to an event. So taking Craig's roster to LVO was an interesting experience in what I consider to be a really deep toolbox of a roster, but not having both the headspace that thought of these incredible ideas and put these tools in the toolbox, right? So I had to kind of like figure some of that out on my own in conversations with Craig. But then also it was like getting ready for every game was kind of like, well, what would Craig bring here? Instead of like, what would
Just
I
send
do?
him a message, Craig, help. Man in the ear.
That felt like cheating, so I didn't do it. Uh, I think that roster is a great example of one that doesn't have all of those like more or less considered to be optimized pieces. It has Voodoo and it has Supreme Strange. I did chuckle at the win loss differential between OG and Supreme, since
Hmm.
I'm very much in the Supreme camp. I've very much warmed to OG over the past month after fighting him so hard. So I think that right there you've got two very interesting models that are both toolboxes in their own way in Supreme and OG. They just do different things. So there's absolutely different tools that are available in this game, right? But yeah, so like you can jam a flathead into a Phillips socket like more often than not, right? So long as it isn't one of those like closed circuit Phillipses where it doesn't come out over the edges at all. So I think there are times when you can use more of the multi-tool approach and just bring something that's really good, but it might not be the best tool for the job, for sure.
Absolutely. Welcome, Hyper.
Hi. I didn't want to interrupt, but hello.
Oh, you're fine. You're
Thanks.
fine. We are talking about basically evaluating your toolbox as in your roster, and are we focusing too much on characters that are quote unquote good and leaving tools behind for the job?
This is something I'm currently struggling with a lot because it's so easy when you're building a roster to be like, oh, I need Voodoo, I need Black Cat, I need so and so, I need other meta pick. and instead you're passing up options that are in maybe your affiliation or have high synergy with your affiliation. So yeah, I'm currently building Asgard because I'm building the Church of Beta Ray Bill from the ground up. Um, and it's
You're not
difficult.
alone.
No, I am alone. No one else loves him the way I do.
Fair.
I am his strongest soldier, and he sends me his toughest battles because he knows I can handle it. Um, but yeah, it's difficult because I've never felt like building Avengers is a different challenge because it's like you have a million affiliated characters and a million splash characters that are all good. But now I'm like, damn, like, what do I? A lot of the Asgardians are actually really good, even though they've kind of been out of the spotlight for a minute. When you come back to it, you remember like why this affiliation got popular in the first place because they all get 2 power a turn. They're all pretty chunky, and a lot of them have like some pretty ridiculous abilities. So I'm having to kind of pick my favorite baby right now, and it's rough because there are only so many slots you can take. There are only so many unaffiliated slots you can take. There are only so many things you can prepare for in a meta that's constantly evolving, and there are over 100 characters, and you only get 10 slots. So I'm doing my best. There's so many things I want to play right now. But yeah, about the toolbox evaluation, I'm actually curious to hear more on your side as well from both of you, because I think you're more experienced wargamers for sure. So I think you probably have better roster creation techniques.
Well, we were kind of like going into the ins and outs. Like Voodoo's like one of the biggest examples we came to. Is
For sure.
he's a good character, but like, what is? I'll ask you the same question. What is like if you're to look at Voodoo as a tool? What is his purpose in the game?
He has kind of two. He's probably still the best extract manipulator in the game. And he's also a fairly strong mystic beater who has like
Okay.
decent defense, a good health pool, and like a very powerful tool, like offensive toolkit with his mystic attacks, his throw, and his like just sometimes you just get vaporized spender.
Mm-hmm.
And sap power is especially good right now, I think.
Yeah.
Like
So
I've had games where I'm kind of fishing just for the wilds and I don't want to hurt people, and it's really good when it works out.
so it's like it comes down to like people talk about Voodoo like he's like, or like I don't know, not as much anymore, but they used to talk about Voodoo like he's like a great character. You should be playing Voodoo. Not really
Yeah.
discussing like why is he a good character? Like what is he actually bringing to your roster? And I think a lot of times people get shoehorned into this. Like let's talk about Hulk. I don't think Hulk is a great character. He's a great control piece. He's good at throwing things, getting things out of the way, and then he's good at beating face when he gets some damage on him.
Yes.
But more often than not, like I guarantee you, there's people out there that are taking Hulk only because they were told to take
It's
Hulk
Hulk.
because he's good.
Yeah.
It's Hulk.
That's 100% true.
But like let's look at like Bill for reason. Like why you've been waiting to do this, but like let's take this toolbox approach to it. Why is Bill so good?
Oh my god, this character is insane. I've
Like
been
but
playing as much as I can with him.
Let's focus on the toolbox.
I know. I'm going to. So, stop me if this doesn't make sense, but I'm going to use the example of Demons Downtown because I think it's not his best scenario, but I think he is the best singular character in the game at this scenario, if that makes sense. He plays demons better than anyone else because, one, he's incinerate immune. So the negative effect of the crisis straight up does not affect him. Two, nobody wants to fight Bill. He's not a character that you ever want to punch because of his aggressive, because of his damage resistance, because even if you get through all that, giving him power is a bad idea. Um, so he's just like this piece in the middle of the board and throw at least one person off every turn, as well as bash them face and shoot lightning at people. So it exemplifies his strength, where he wants to fight, he wants to be somewhere, and he wants to throw people. And the weakness of the crisis, the incineration, just literally does not affect him. So that's a pretty complete use of his toolkit on that scenario. It's slow, it's grindy, so you kind of have to fight people. It's very unlikely you're going to be able to score out in a reasonable time frame without taking some hits. And he's almost unkillable, and his defense will not be reduced. So
I
that, I
have
think, yeah.
I have a question for you. Well, first of all, let's decide on what is Bill's role in the toolbox. What is he? What is he? What do you think he is designed to be?
He's similar in a lot of ways to both Rhino and Hulk, I would say.
Yeah, I would say for me, I see Bill as like a mini Hulk.
He is. He 100%. He's like, I wouldn't say he's as tough because 20 health is 20 health.
Yeah,
But he is a ridiculously durable model with an incredibly good throw.
and he could throw multiples of times a turn.
Yes, he's similar to Thor and Hulk in that if you are battling like a size 4 character, it's very likely you're going to be able to bowling ball that person into someone else multiple times a turn. Because that spender, it's not even an away throw, it's any direction. His hurl.
So when we look at Bill, do you see Bill as a piece
Tank healer
that is like,
DPS.
yeah,
He's a bit of both. He's not like a DPS character in the same way Domino is. So I like he really does. He just screams like solo laner. If we go with MOBA character design terms, he's tough. He hits reasonably hard. He's very difficult to 1v1, and he has a small amount of crowd, or he has like some level of crowd control. He's just like he's a guy who wants to 1v1 or 2v2 and come out on top, which he can do.
okay. So I like that for him. Like his role is very much like, let me get this far lane while your team can focus on doing everything else.
Yeah, he's like he goes to a side D that you're not really focused on, and just
Yeah.
creates problems there. You either like give up that D to Bill because you're probably not going to win it, and he just chills there the whole game, which is sad for him, or you go and fight him and he wins.
Pressure control. That's what I was looking for. Is pressure control.
Yes, he's just a big scary man,
Horse robot.
a big scary horse cyborg. Yes, horse wolf cyborg Thor.
Fair.
I
All
love
right.
describing Bill to people who don't read comic books. It's just like, yo, you don't understand. He's a alien, cyborg horse wolf with the powers of Thor, and he really is very honorable. He's best friends with Lockjaw, and he likes alcohol. And he's also a guardian of the galaxy.
Those are all solid qualities.
Yeah, he's a
For man.
great character.
A horse cyborg.
He is uniquely positioned in the Marvel universe to just be a cool character, to be a cool dude.
So he's a 4 threat. Thor's a 5. How often are you looking at jamming them both? I'm assuming quite frequently, but
In all of my Asgard testing, I think I played one game where I didn't play Thor.
okay. What kind of compositions are you looking for? Right. So you're at 9 with 2 affiliated models, right there. So like, what's your next step?
If I have priority and there's something in the middle of the table, it's usually Angela. If that's not the case, then it's either Valkyrie or Scourge, depending on what I need. Or Bucky on occasion, or a Loki. But honestly, like, we were talking about Toolbox. Right now I only have one Mystic attack in my entire list, and it's Loki Spender. So I've been kind of looking at maybe swapping Loki for Voodoo. But I also, like, I haven't needed one. The amount of throws Asgard can put out, like the tanky models like Panther and stuff, you can kind of just like either ignore and like throw into corners, or just nail them with buildings.
I also feel like the Mystic damage dealer, like necessity, has really kind of gone down with Avengers being less and less common, and X-Men and Brotherhood being more and more.
Especially with all of the what's what I'm looking for? All the energy Asgard can put out.
Yeah. So it's very much like I feel like the necessity for Mystic damage has gone down, but it's still like I think ingrained in us that like I have to have a good Mystic damage dealer. Like,
Well, it just feels bad when like I realize like, oh, I have 0 Mystic damage, right? Like for those super like physically tough teams. But then I remember that energy is like almost functionally identical, right? A lot of the time, or if not better.
or you just play books, that's fine.
Yeah, and I gotta say it's really fun when Convocation plays books and then Bill roasts a Doctor Strange with his 6-die energy with rerolls. And he's like, oh shit.
I will say I love that I forget what it's called, but
Summon the storm.
yeah, that one's great. Like he could do it every single turn, and it's great at targeting people who are typically like, it's fine.
Yeah, even if you're like, oh, Bill, he's only scary against like big models. Even if that's what you're thinking, if you load Bill up on power, he can Rainbow Bridge, and there's literally no hiding from him. He can Rainbow Bridge, and then
Mhm.
he's a range 4 attack off of a medium base. Like, he can get extremely far and shoot you from very far away with lightning bolts.
Fair
And even if
enough.
you don't die, you get shocked. It's great.
So let's go ahead and try to, I guess, bring it back to like a toolbox discussion with. I'm trying to think like the best way to like say this. Like how do we help people? I guess understand the topic more, or understand like how to look at characters this way more. And I think like we could talk about this all day, but it's like so like cool. Like I look at Voodoo and I just see a good character. Like I don't see a you know what I mean? You know what I'm
Well, why
saying?
is he good? Like what
Yeah,
makes
it's like,
him good,
what
right?
about that? Yeah, yeah. It's like the
Well,
aspects of that character that are
it's
superior, right?
also kind of like I feel like all right, I'm gonna go off on another tangent here. Yeah, we're great. um, I had a conversation with somebody in a Discord the other day, and it was like the Danger Room Discord, and it was going on about like Sploosh had done a poll of what's like the best affiliation, and there's a lot of people saying Brotherhood. Brotherhood's like the S tier affiliation right now, which I don't necessarily disagree with. I think Brotherhood's
It's
definitely up
clearly
there.
Shield.
Fair. But like I challenged people and I said like, well, tell me like what's so good about Brotherhood, and then I got a lot of responses that were like, well, they're good. Like they're like the conversation was very like,
Yeah, they're real good.
yeah,
That's,
like they're
yeah,
good. Like
it's so
and
lazy though.
and
Like, I'm trying to have a
but
conversation here, right?
but it's like I think this like where this relates to like the topic that on hand that we have is like I encouraging people to like evaluate like what is good, like why is this good, and you look at Brotherhood and like they have literally all the tools you could possibly want within their affiliation. They got great control, they got great damage, they got great survivability, and they got great objective play. Like they have literally all these things, and then to couple it with like super efficiency and all these things add up, and that's what makes them so good. And once you start having conversations like that about characters and affiliations, you start to have a greater understanding of different things. So like I'm challenging, I guess what I'm trying to do is challenge people to like look at characters in this light of why is Hulk good? Well, what exactly is Hulk's role? Like, what is he doing that is so good? He's surviving and he's controlling wherever he's at on the board. Like that's literally what he does. That is
Yeah.
why Hulk was good. He's not amazing because he's punching and killing things in one hit. He's amazing because wherever his board presence is, he is controlling that side of the board more than likely. And he's hard to take out.
Absolutely.
But like
That is
it
very
comes
true.
down to evaluating characters like this, like where we talk about Bill. Bill is like I was where I think Bill is mini Hulk is because the side of the board he's on, he is a very controlling presence and he's hard to take out.
For sure. That's part of like, I said for a long time that I thought Hulk was the best character in game on Mutant Madmen. I'm not sure that's the case anymore because I think if you line Hulk and Bill up on a side of Mutant Madmen, especially if Bill is on the team that's wider because he's 4 threat, he does win that side. He gets to take both those points. There's not a damn thing Hulk can do about it because you just flip one, throw Hulk, flip the other one, and you're good.
Yeah.
I mean, Hulk
Absolutely.
does get that power regardless, right? So like, there's ways to play around it, but Thor gets to it, or Bill gets to a turn. So if he picks up an extract and flips a point, which is like the most he's ever doing, he's still likely gonna be able to throw like the turn after that.
Yeah.
All right.
All
So
right.
when you're talking about, I got two things on this, right? So number one would be when the only tool you have is a hammer, everything looks like a nail. So
Yes.
if you don't know exactly, you know, like, so if we call the Hulk a hammer, right? We're like, all right, the Hulk's a hammer. Everything is not a nail. But if your answer to everything is to bring Hulk, right? Then like, yeah, I mean that hammer is going to do a lot of damage, like almost all the time. It's always going to be like a 6 threat Hulk, right? It's not.
And a hammer
no point
can
does that
punch
thing
a
fall
screw through a wall.
That's right.
Sure.
It can. It can. It's just not the most efficient way to get the screw in the wall, and it's probably not gonna, stick as well. Garbage in, garbage out. The other thing that I would say is when you're trying to evaluate, like what your roster needs, or is this character like the tool I'm looking for? I want to look and I want to identify like basically like the attributes of this character, right? So if you look at Hulk, he's got non-action movement. He's got size 4 displacement, and he's got 2 different attacks that both have displacement on them. He's got an energy attack beam, right? So he's got some interesting I mean, for lack of a better term, tools in his character toolkit, right? But like, those are the things that you're looking at, right? So, like Mystique Brotherhood with Juggernaut and Hulk. You've got Juggernaut and you've got Hulk and you've got a refund. So what you're doing now is you're taking Mystique's leadership with her power refund, and then you are turning on two characters to grab on senators with
I hate
only a
this play.
single move action, right? So I move up I double move my Hulk up, I grab something, I slide back. I double move my Juggernaut up, I grab something, I slide back, right? So you're bringing tools, right? So the tools that you're bringing there are these two big beefy boys that have basically uh, an extra movement every turn if they have the power for it, and then Mystique makes sure that they have enough power for it on turn one. Lets you get, theoretically two safe senator grabs, which a lot of other teams can't do, which should give you some level of advantage in that matchup.
And then on the inverse, if you were to play that exact same setup on Scoundrels and Cubes, like
It's
you,
not
you,
doing as much for you.
you might have a bad time. Like that's a perfect example of this worked really well on this other place. Why is it not working well here? This comes into everything is not a nail.
Right. It's okay. So I mean, if you do look at that, it's not like you're going to be wildly disadvantaged in that other setup, right?
No.
Because you got one model with massive health pool, right? So he can soak some cubes damage, likes the extra power. You've got Juggernaut who can soak some of the cube damage, doesn't mind the extra power when he's got it. And both of these models have good displacement, so you're not going to be super disadvantaged on the secure side of things either. But then, what if instead of running those guys, you found room for a pair of fours and a three, right? Gives you an extra body to stand on the point somewhere else. You can potentially have even more displacement because now you can trade some of that free movement that you just don't need on cube scoundrels. Discard some of that free movement for just more displacement effects or other abilities that are good, like maybe ignores cover or something like that.
Or Pyro in his card because it's cubes.
Now, see, I think Pyro is going to wind up in the same category as Voodoo, where we're just like, just jam Pyro in that thing.
See, here's the thing: is I already like that list I'm talking about, where I'm trying to find room for Voodoo. I already have Pyro in it, and there's no way I'm dropping him. It's rough. He is,
Well, like,
especially because like he makes the need for any attack type lessened as long as they're not
Yes.
immune to incinerate, because he just likes makes people die. Which is again another reason why Bill is just standing here flexing over the entire MCP game, being like, "How do you deal with this monster?"
And
Well,
another reason why
let's
Brotherhood
talk
actually
about
is a really good
let's
affiliation.
let's talk about Pyro again real quick though. Like let's talk about Pyro. Like what does his tool look like? Like he's got control because pyrotechnics and incinerate is kind of a form of soft control because
And he has root slow for some
and
reason.
he has root and slow on a super cheap. He's also a pretty decent damage dealer because
He's
it's
incredible. Yeah,
like
he
I
just
mean, it's
burns
been-
everything.
Yeah, like
Energy range for incinerate.
Like- I think Pyro is definitely like a true multi-tool in the game because he's got multi-uses and is just good at all of them.
The only thing he isn't is tanky.
Yeah,
That's the only thing he isn't. He's a good damage dealer. He has good crowd control. He's got not only like lockdown shit, like he can make everything you do more painful, but he can also push you. He can boost his own dice. So like when I'm really glad that his builder is a gainer for a lot of
Yeah.
reasons.
oh, he'd be broken.
Yeah, it'd be broken if he was popping out like 7-die attacks on the regular. But like having a 6-die beam on that gains power on a 3-threat who also like during the beam can set his next target on fire is
Yeah.
obscene. He is mechanically broken, and I love him.
Fair enough.
He's an official Asgardian because he's from Australia.
He seems
Alrighty.
real good. I think the thing I found most frustrating about playing into Pyro is I just want to remove. My first instinct is just remove that kind of a character from the board. I just want to like, oh, nope, not
Yeah,
that one.
just kill
get rid
him.
of it, right? He's not that hard to take down. Just take him down. And then he survives on one, and you're just like, well, this is going to be bad.
Yeah, and then he destroys the world.
And so like the next big problem I have is like, okay, well, maybe I just ignore him then, right? He's just got his one trick pony, right? He's gonna pyro attack. He's gonna shoot me, incinerate me, and then pyrotechnics me, and I'm gonna drop an objective. I'm gonna get thrown away. Well, I'll just ignore that guy then, right? But then it turns out that like a range 4 energy attack is a really difficult thing to just ignore.
Hmm.
Like it cuts
Well,
through a lot
and a
of the
gainer.
entertainment of the game.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. He's always getting the power no matter what. And if he gets a wild, then you're incinerated, and then pyrotechnics is online. Right? You're just like, oh, all right, it's happening. It's gonna happen. So
And then
he's
half your
definitely a
team's on
character,
fire. Yeah.
right? You have to just kind of weather the pyro storm. Like it's
I
just gonna
honestly
happen.
like. This is an interesting like little tidbit. I think pyro, like being meta, is also a reason for bodyguards being bad right now.
Because they're both going to get incinerated.
Yes. So because even if you bodyguard, the initial target still gets set on fire because it's range 2. So that's why I'm kind of like, damn, Scourge is just looking so pretty right now with his reverse bodyguard. Reverse bodyguard is the new thing. It's what we need because regular bodyguard just sets everyone on fire.
Right.
Oh man. All right, so let's move on to understanding your win cons and what tools you need to achieve. Taking your toolbox character versus multi-tool, which is better. So like we got to understand our win condition of your roster. So like let's talk about your Asgardian list. What is typically your win condition for the roster?
Have things, make them want to come to me, and then
Okay.
repeatedly throw them away and fill them with statuses so they're walking up and punching me with 4 dice and I can laugh at them.
Okay.
That is
okay.
like the win condition is to form the beef castle.
The win condition is to form Beef Castle. All right, so
Yeah.
we have
Or
characters.
the alternate win condition is to you just have someone like usually Thor, sometimes also Angela,
uh-huh.
just not holding anything, just diving your backline, making you upset, just making your life hard by just repeatedly shoving them into your face.
Okay. Okay. So, excuse me. When we look at characters, we got
Very Asgard.
Bill. Obvious. It's very Asgard. It's very every character in Asgard. Like I don't really know how to help you here because it's like you have all the tools you need in your affiliation. Like I think you just add
Except for the
Pyro.
answer for 15.
Fair. No, you just play Thor, Bill, Scourge.
Uh-huh. Exactly.
There's
Like you can,
12.
yeah, sure, you can do stuff. Yeah, you got
And then Pyro, perfect. Yeah, Thor, Scourge, Bill, Pyro.
there, easy peasy.
Easy. It's war control.
That's what I played that a lot. Actually, it's really good.
But like we're looking at like this, like you have characters that are throwing, you have characters that are tanky, you got characters that are lighting people on fire. You talked about Voodoo. I think Voodoo helps it out actually and is the right tool because he's also throwing stuff and he's also helping you out with that extract droppage and helping you maintain some sort of back victory point lead where your opponent could just run away with it.
sorry, keep going.
I thought you had something
One thing I
fun to
really
share.
liked about Asgard.
No, I was wondering if like playing Loki and Pyro in the same list was honestly double dipping too much because I do love Loki. He's just hard to jam sometimes, and I don't think he's in a phenomenal spot currently. Like there are more and more characters who just kind of don't care about him. So I'm like, do I just play Voodoo instead of Loki? Because in all of my test games, which aren't that many, I will admit, I played like a handful of games with Asgard. I think I played Loki like twice, and he's been great both times. Yeah, you know who is
Bring
really
Loki
good
in
in
for
Asgard? What was that?
Are you bringing him in for points, or are you bringing him in because he's the right tool for the job?
Because he's the right tool for the job, 100%. Like when I'm bringing Loki, it's because I think he's good in the matchup. I'm never bringing Loki
Yeah.
just because it's like, oh, cool, Loki. Someone who I am bringing, another tool in my toolkit right now is Apex. Apex is insanely good in Asgard. There's that amount of healing with that kind of health pool, a second exceptional, or a second Odin's, I should say, in certain matchups, is ridiculously hard to punch through.
Neat.
All right.
It is neat.
Sam, you have some notes here. You want to hit those?
Well, I mean, things that I consider when I'm thinking about, your win condition, right? Like, you have to know what your win condition is. So, like, obviously, almost everyone's win condition is like having enough points to win when my opponent doesn't. but like how do you actually get to that end? I think is important to understand. So, I mean, if you need mobility because you're playing on flip secures, right? Like that's one style of game, and you're going to want to include some tools that have enough mobility and are cheap enough that you can play that very mobile flip secure game. If you're going to be standing around on those points, then you want to have some toughness, you want to have some displacement. You kind of need a different set of tools, but then you also need to be able to understand what you're going to do when you're stuck on the other approach to the game, right? So, like the X-Men are a very good team at flip secures right now. I think Asgard has a lot of flip secure game, but they're not particularly advantaged on them, other than they have good stats and extra power generation. They're usually not as wide as some of the other better flip secure teams. So, you got to understand what your approach is going to be on the other side of that, right? So if you are trying to play flip secures, what do you do when you don't get to play those? What are your tools for that job? And then at some point, you've got to kind of just decide that I don't need more tools. I need like what's my actual game plan? How do I want to approach this game? How do I win out? Because I think that you can go too far into the toolbox and then you don't have enough teeth. You don't have enough teeth, you're not going to get enough damage across. You can't get damage across, you're going to lose the attrition game in the long run. So if the game runs long and you start losing bodies, you don't have a good answer to that. The other side of that coin is that you got to have some thick boys on the team, or you got to know what you're going to do with those, and you got to make sure that you don't get just swarmed on the objectives or shots on target. So there's always going to be an array of tools, but you don't want to get that toolbox too cluttered, because if you don't have enough beef or enough teeth, you're going to fall short in the end game.
Yeah.
I love having both of those things in one model, perhaps two.
Yeah, Bill seems really good.
Oh, he's
Yeah.
so good.
He's real fun.
I feel like we're in this like renaissance of fours right now. It's just been like all of these recent spoils and releases, like Emma and
How do you guys feel to
and Spider Woman.
what is the rogue agent's consensus on Emma right now?
Emma?
I'm not very high on Emma for what it's.
I'm
worth. I
also
think
not
that
very
she's-
high on Emma. I think she's cool.
Yeah,
She's okay.
She's interesting space to explore. Diamond form, mystic attacks. So like, I think that's an interesting counts blanked on.
Yeah. But like it's kind of weird that when she goes diamond, the place where she's most tanky is combo with books, right? She's not
Right.
just like naturally all that tough. She's just a 4/4/4 with like a single stat that gets reverse pierce. So like she's really good into convocation.
right.
I
Yeah, that's what I was
think.
gonna say. I don't want to see her.
I feel like she is very much like the definition of like a toolbox character, and
Oh, she has so many cool little,
she's
like
she's gonna be overused, and it's just gonna take table time to like perfect play with her to get like maximum usage.
she's a skill gap character for sure.
I think she's gonna. There's gonna. I agree with the skill gap part, and I really just think that she's going to be a character that you have to have reps with her. You have to understand like how to use her, and I feel like she's gonna have like her powers feel very taxing to me. Not like taxing of your opponent, not even so much taxing of your mental energy, but just like her power economy. I think she's gonna have some power problems.
She does. She's the same as Jean Grey. Like she has a lot of the same tools as like Grey and Maw, but like
Or
less
Nova.
than half
Nova's
the
the
power
one that comes to
economy.
mind.
Yes. Yeah,
Yeah.
Nova, right?
Like
Like
oh
that-
man, not being able to change out of not being able to choose to change into diamond form unless you're being attacked is way too much agency for my opponent to have over what I get to do with my character. And then having to spend power to change form, and then having to use my spender to get out of it on my turn if I'm in a situation where I need to use stuff like team tactics or something by her. Like I don't know. It feels like it's going to be. It almost feels like OG Wolverine for what that's worth to me. Like I look at that and it's like, wow, this is a lot of hoops I have to jump through just to get like nominal results. That's my 2 cents.
That's completely fair.
But that's also largely a hot take because I have 0 table time with her.
Yeah,
I've seen her
I
in
have
a
not
couple of
seen
games,
her.
and that's it.
I played against her once, and she was not incredibly terrifying. Oh, I turned my camera on. It didn't even work. I don't think. Oh, whatever. Um, but like, yeah, she. We got to see Psylocke, right? Because that's a lot of what they've been doing. Is we'll have a fourth that's everyone's like, this is a metaphor, and then their box
Right.
buddies kind of like, this is really cool, but I don't know how crazy. Like, we have Bill and we have Ulick, we have Spider Woman, then we have Agent Venom, right? Like Bill and Spider Woman are undoubtedly going to be very popular. They have solid affiliated places, I assume, right? Spider Woman just screams to me one of those characters is going to be affiliated everywhere because, first of all, that's like lore for her, and second of all, she just seems like someone that at AMG's like, let's just let's give her the Black Cat treatment. Let's make her let's make her a Midnight Sun or something, right? Like just something way out there for no reason. Yeah. So
A-Force, Avengers, Hydra,
Shield,
Cabal, because why not? Shield, for sure.
Avengers. Yeah, you said Avengers. Web Warriors.
Oh, yeah, right. Web Warriors. Yeah.
Yeah. So she's gonna have like 5 or
Cool
6 or
five.
something of the 15 affiliations in the game, and it's like when you look at her kit and you think about, oh man, this character in Hydra, it's like, oh my god. Ugh. Ugh. A Black Panther who can heal, has stealth and status as you.
Yeah.
Like that sounds so annoying to try and punch into when you're like she shocks you and heals one. It's like, oh my god, no, leave me alone. Or like flips the status onto you and also shocks you at the same time. Just gross.
Do you think Interrogate sees more play in general after this? Have we gotten a ruling on whether or not you can stack Interrogate?
That's really
can't.
important.
You
We
can't.
have. Oh, okay.
I remember seeing something saying that you could not.
Oh, okay. Because if that were the case, I would think that Avengers, it's like Sam Avengers and A-Force would become hugely popular, just sitting in a corner, scoring 3 VP a turn on each KO. Or each
I
on,
forgot
yeah, each
where
day.
I saw, but I remember reading something saying that you cannot actually stack and interrogate.
Is that on the forum? Like, is that
I
official?
I believe so. Don't quote me on that.
Okay.
I might have been
Like
where I saw. It was like one of
in
my random perusings of the forums.
Yeah, friends of the show. If you want to, check that out and confirm what Dizzard's saying, that'd be cool.
All right,
You're
do
a
you want to
content
move on
creator,
to what's that?
You know you're a content creator, right? You're gonna get quoted.
I don't care.
Yeah, it's how it works.
Dizzard said that interrogate can't be stacked.
Yep.
And then people are like, yeah, but it's Dizzard. He's like wrong all the time on rules.
Never, not even once. What's wrong with you?
I forgot where I saw it at, but I remember seeing someone saying it. But
I mean, it
Wherever.
would make sense. If it's the same name.
Yeah,
But
it's same
I just know
name.
that it's like you
Where's
can't
Thoris
use
when
the
we need him?
same named power to
benefit.
like trigger twice, right? So you can't Baron from the same triggering event.
Well,
Yeah.
sure, but it's like it's not the same triggering event technically,
I think.
right?
I wonder. So I'm
Right.
curious if like you can't do it on the same target, but do it on different.
Yeah.
targets.
What if you daze 2 people? Because that like interrogates already it feels bad.
Yeah.
Because not only have you dazed the model and probably taken whatever extract they had, but now you get an extra VT on top of that. So it's like anywhere from a 2 to 3 VP swing.
You double got your
But
back?
yeah, now you
That's-
can beat now double got your back. Yeah, that's a thing. And
But
that's
isn't
what I'm
it
talking
called
about
two
as well,
different
right?
things though, or is it actually called got your back?
No, they're both called Got Your Back.
Oh, it's because it's the
you're
different
triggering it.
characters.
It's
Yeah.
not. Yeah, exactly. It's something about like the.
I'll see you on the Shatterpoint podcast.
It's a different one.
Let's see.
Uh,
Yeah, it's literally called Got Your Back. It's just cheaper and specifies a different attack name.
fair enough. All right. Well, do you want to move into the next the fun segment of the day?
Where
Just
we talk
one.
about your
They're not all
X-Force
fun.
Yeah, let's talk about the X Force because X Force is fun. We're gonna do
roster.
the.
We get our chance. We get our chance to.
Yeah, do you want to
grill
fight
you
against
on your
Asgard later, man?
roster.
I'll play X-Force into Asgard, dude. That sounds like fun.
we did that already.
Well, I haven't done that. Oh, yes, we did. We did do
Yeah,
that.
we did.
We
It
did
didn't
do
go
that.
very well, but I was testing stuff and it didn't work out. The test did not work out. Anyways, so we're gonna do the Y game. What do you want to call it? The Y factor, and we're gonna talk about this X Force roster because people keep asking questions about it. So take it away.
Alright. So this is the roster that you built last week and we weren't on the show, right?
Yeah. Well, it's changed slightly, but yes,
All right. What's
Are we gonna talk about what we did last week? Maybe that'll come next.
you missed that. You missed your moment to shine in the sun.
That's okay.
All right. So the questions that I had for you, like right away, were basically like, what's on the bubble here? What do you like? I'm not sold on this. When you look at this roster and you put it together,
Are you
got
just
some
not
games
sold
there.
because it's X Force or what?
Not what I said. I said, what aren't you sold on?
Oh, what am I not sold on?
That's my question. What are you
Um,
like? Nah, I don't know. What's on the bubble here?
Bullseye
Okay.
Ooh.
and
Bullseye
Do you
is
Deadpool.
have
my
a?
second two.
Where can I see this list?
It's on the show notes. Okay, so just for everybody's knowledge, the list is now Zemo, Cable, Badger, Pyro, Wolverine OG style, X-23, Beta Ray Bill, Deadpool, Sabretooth, Bullseye. Tactics are Cat and Mouse, no matter the cost, Pyrotechnics, Sacrifice, Exceptional Healing, Eyes on the Prize, Brace, Mark for Death, Face Me, Weapon X.
So
And
have you
then-
joined the Church of Bill as well? Just asking before you get to the
I-
rest of this.
I've been on Bill since he was spoiled.
Church of Bill.
Secures Infinity, Gamma Sword, Extracts, Paranoia, Research, and Alien Ship. Okay.
All right. So
And on the
basically
bubble,
everything's a lock except for Bullseye.
and Deadpool. Deadpool's like I'm in on because he doesn't really come out that often. He's not like a pivotal part to anything.
He's a weird piece. I like him
Yeah.
a lot, but he is like he's kind of hard to jam when you have X-23.
Well, it's also
little bit
like
of power
when you look at the
generation,
whole
he's still good.
tool evaluation, like what is he bringing? He's not really bringing
Yeah.
anything specific. He's not really a tool.
Well, he's good
based
against webs,
character.
but like, yeah,
And
Good
he's
power
also
drain.
good. He's good in a meta where characters move people a lot, but that's not very prevalent right
Well,
now.
I mean, like I talked about this a little bit. I don't know if I ever mentioned it on the show, but I do think like Juggernaut Hulk, like size 4 meta, is like slowly winding down. I wouldn't be
Yeah.
surprised if their usage started to really start to see some dropping off, and characters like Shuri to come back hard, characters like Deadpool to come back hard.
Yeah. The power drain is nice when you get to pull it off, like it,
That's
and you
true.
remember you have it. But that's the issue is you forget you have it.
Yeah, because he never has power. He's got some power generation issues.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyways,
All right. So then, what's your favorite like core? here?
okay.
Like,
So
if you could-
the best I think is 17. You
Okay.
go Cable, Wolverine, Sabretooth, and Bill.
Oh my God, you had me at Bill.
All right. If
That
that's
does
your
sound
favorite,
nice.
How come you've only got like 2 17s in your crisis?
Because a majority of the field is playing 17s, and to me, like I can't tell you how many games I've played 17 when I don't have that many 17s in my roster.
What do you do when you go below? So like, if that's your favorite 17, like,
Yeah.
and you've got to go down to 16 or 15, you're making some sacrifices there. So,
Yeah.
like,
So
what
then
do you do?
Wolverine or Saber becomes 23, or
Okay.
Badger, and or both, depending on
Okay.
what's needed. It also just depends on what the matchup is and what the like in a convocation. Wolverine drops for and you keep Sabretooth, and you like debatably bring in Deadpool because convocation.
All right.
or
That's
Zemo.
interesting. Okay. Why sword?
Why sword? Because X Force, in my opinion, is actually one of the better ones on sword, and Bill's the nuts on sword.
The sword is like the thing that continues to stick with me about sword
Mhm.
every time I jam it into rosters.
Mhm.
Barely played it on the new version, right? So I don't
Mhm.
have like, a tremendous amount of reps on that. But it's the great equalizer, so
Mhm.
maybe that's good for X Force.
It is.
But like it's a 50-50. Whoever has the last activation has like a 50-50 chance of swinging this like in their favor, and that is
Yes.
a lot to gamble on. That's why it's the great equalizer, is because of
But
that.
the fun thing is the fact that you can cat and mouse Cable, and he's got every single point like in his range.
Okay. Well, Cable, like I have such a weirdly healthy respect for Cable because he only rolls hot fire against me, like
That's fair.
9 times out of 10.
And see,
like,
that's the
oh,
weird
look at
thing is a lot of people just don't respect Cable anymore because they always hear hot trash about him, and then when he just blows the table away, they're just like, I think I should respect Cable a little bit more. But like I like Sword a lot because 15 is fun. You just go Cable, Saber / Wolverine, 23, and then like Pyro or Zemo.
that. Okay. And then how many of those can actually like get around, can like scoot around on the sword points? And,
Almost every
potentially
single one of
grab,
them.
Like multiples of them for you. Okay.
Almost every one of them. And then if you want, you could throw Bill in there too. Because if you go like Cable 23 Deadpool, being able to have access to the thing. Like either they can get around easy, like 23 or Wolverine, or Deadpool on his flip side, or Cable. But they have they also have Zemo. Bill being medium move, medium base means he can be a lot of hassle on sword. Like Bill can like start on 1 and flip 3 points in 1 round.
So I got a big question for you.
Yeah.
Why are you not playing Asgard?
Because I'm on the X-Force train.
Mm-hmm.
Choo
And
choo.
you think that in your Church of Bill that while he's lending his great strength to these weaklings, that you will not feel like easily the most powerful model on your team, and you won't feel like the rest of your claw people and guys with guns are dragging down your god.
No, you see,
I'm just asking these questions.
he likes to like help out the little guy. You even said so yourself. Like he's a very
He does.
like
You're right. He that's his gig these days. He just flies around the universe helping those in need, and X-Force is in need. So,
So there, it's
I'll give you
perfect.
that one. No, you're right. You're 100% right. I agree.
I win the Y game.
No, it's not even a win. You're just like, yeah, you got it. 100% correct.
All right, what's the paranoia play? What are you doing there?
Paranoia is actually super fun because you can it used to be with like fastball and lockjaw because you had a way that you could like have it set up to where you had fastball online, 2 actions with Wolverine and 2 actions with Colossus, and you would fastball Wolverine towards one of the paranoia and Colossus would grab the other one. Like it was a extremely threatening board presence.
But I
With
see
how it
none of
is,
that in the roster.
no, not anymore. I dropped it.
Okay.
I actually dropped it. It is super fun though. If anybody looking at like Bulls, I might go back to doing Colossus just so I can go back to doing that because it is super fun. But anyways, Beta Ray Bill with Eyes on the Prize is very threatening on Paranoia.
Extremely good. Well,
And
any
you
like
can-
any center line, yeah.
yeah, any center line. But Eyes on the Prize, Cat and Mouse being able to like you can easily threaten grabbing it. And you're factoring in like your X healing, whatever you want to call it, the not exceptional healing, God, healing factor. God, can't think. You factor that into it.
Yeah.
Paranoia helps you out quite a bit.
Do you remember the Pat Gambit from like 4 years ago or whatever?
The Pat Gambit.
Where Pat would play Wakanda with Angela on hammers, and he would run Panther up to one side, grab a hammer, and then have Angela on the other side, waiting to walk up, throw a building at you, and then hit you.
Yeah, that's basically what you're doing with this.
Eyes on the Prize Bill with Angela on hammers is a much scarier that because
That's
he
fair.
safe grabs a hammer, and then Angela can walk up and throw a building and hit whoever tries to grab the other one. And if you don't do that, she just takes it. It's exceptionally good with priority.
That's fair. I might honestly drop Bullseye just to go back to Colossus because I miss doing that with like the whole fastball special and you're like literally threatening a whole entire.
Yeah, if you've got OG Wolverine, you might as well play fastball.
What do
And you
know?
have a Weapon X program too, right? So that's a lot
Yeah.
of free throws. Or not free, but a lot of throws.
What's the drop for fastball?
You probably drop.
Face me.
I hate to drop Face Me because I've really been really enjoying it. But it's probably Face Me because you're kind of
The rest of
doing
these are
this.
just winners.
Well, the other issue is like you're kind of making up. Like Face Me is kind of doing the same plan where you're like trying to vie for that second extract, where this plan is doing the same exact thing. So it's like different way to do the same plan. Except for Face Me, you're less likely to get 3 power round 1 than you are to like pull off the fastball special. So in all reality, the Colossus fastball play is more consistent than the Face Me play.
That's fair. Do you feel that this roster is fair?
I think
It
it's
looks very
fair.
fair to me.
Yeah, it's
Like,
very,
where do you-
very, very
Where
fair.
do you carve out your advantage?
Bill.
Besides just by bringing Bill. Okay.
But Bill is like the biggest thing.
He's got to help him
um,
out, the little guy.
But no, like the biggest advantage that you get is into like the central scrums, and then like hoping you have good dice.
Wait, sorry, which secure were you saying Bill can flip 3? Is that sword?
Because it's squished together.
Oh, sword is so scary though. But I wish you luck.
It
I just-
can
yeah.
happen.
It can. It's just both of my losses at LVO, both of my or no, that's not true. Both my like tournament losing losses at LVO were to someone either was playing Red Skull, but
Yeah.
the second time was much worse because it was Red Skull X-Men, and then I lost another game to X-Men on pay to flips. Like the next game I played, X-Men pay to flips are just like that's their ring, you know. It's so
So
scared to try and punch into that, and that's why I'm like Asgardians can do the same shit, bro. They're cool.
so like the only thing I would say is sword might come out for something more safe. I had meteors in here, but Draz here actually convinced me to put sword back in. So that's kind of his fault. But yeah, what else? What else you got?
Yeah, I'd like to see another 17 there, for what that's worth. I
It
feel
was
like that-
meteors. I like meteors there.
Okay, why not riots?
Did I convince you of sword, or did you convince me? Oh, you were. I thought you were trying to say that I convinced you of sword. What's up?
Oh, why not riots?
Why not riots? I think too many people are advantaged on riots right now to me feel comfortable on it.
Okay, I mean, yeah. So like, you don't have a lot of displacement. You've got Bill
Yeah.
for displacement, medium base, medium move. Like that's pretty solid. What Wolverine Spender
Yeah,
on damage? You've got displacement, but
yeah.
like, let's be
It's
honest,
not consistent.
right? It's not consistent, and you'd rather like murder them with it more often.
Yeah.
Than throw them off.
And that ends up happening more often than not, anyways. You don't want to get the throw off because you're killing them.
Yeah. So I mean, okay. Here's a off the script one for you. Why not Voodoo?
Why not
instead of
Voodoo?
Deadpool? Why not Voodoo instead of Bullseye? He's got a
More
turn,
so
restores up
because
to
I'm holding out hope that I see Psylocke soon,
Mm.
and she just
It's also
slots
rough
right
because
in.
yeah, your splash 4 right now is Bill, and
Right.
yeah, that's tough to put down, even for someone as good as our main man.
Yeah,
And yeah, you do like this is a list with a lot of 4s already. You really can't add another one. You already got 3 3s, which is the magic number. You got 2 2s, which I'm not in love with. Like if there was
So I
gonna be
will
a drop,
say,
it'd be Badger, but
coming-
Badger's also really good.
coming back to like my X Force train, I definitely think X Forces really have you playing a lot of 4s.
Yeah, they are. That's their happy
So-
place for sure.
So it's like having like 4 4s doesn't feel bad. I wouldn't even be opposed to 5 4s.
No, you're crazy.
Because that's what they do though, is they really like leverage like quality 4s.
That's true. They make the 4s better.
Yeah.
Is that just for the reroll and
Yeah, that's all it really is. But it's like
Reroll
making those
and
one
cable
attacks
shield.
better.
open
Cable
up
shield
the
doing it
4
too
white 17?
is kinda
yeah,
big.
yeah, cable shields. That's right. Adding defense dice. I do it all the
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
I never feel like I get great results.
No, that's part of why I don't love like Cable and Strange as defensive pieces, is because I never feel like adding dice does a whole lot for me.
That's
I've
fair.
also been traumatized. I've been traumatized by Magneto.
But yeah,
The faction breaks down to choose the right 4s for the job. I agree with that. Like you're bringing more 4s because your 4s is like where you're digging into your toolbox for that matchup.
yeah, I can dig on
'Cause
that.
your 3s are your consistency, and then your 4s are your very like I need this for this matchup specifically.
Okay, so if these are toolboxes, right? So like, what are you actually getting from OG Wolverine and OG Sabretooth besides street cred?
And
Real.
the surprise factor actually.
It's not a
Um,
surprise, dude. If we're playing against someone like if it's Dizzard, everybody knows what's coming.
So, but the thing is like you have OG Wolverine,
Yeah,
and he's actually I've been playing him a lot more, and I've said it on last week's podcast, and you guys missed this. Is like me playing OG Wolverine really came to a conclusion that there really isn't that big of a difference between Logan and OG Wolverine. They're almost equally as mobile. I would say Logan has more access to the mobility, but in all reality, OG Wolverine is like pretty much just as mobile as Logan is. It's just
I don't know. I've never seen OG tear through an entire team the way Beam Logan can.
but that's the beam though. Like if he had a beam,
Yeah.
sure. But like that's what he's doing. OG Wolverine, I've been using him more as like like a like I mean, did I do it in your game or a different game? I don't remember. But like I literally
You were playing
like,
Sabretooth in our game.
okay. But like I've been using not Logan, but Wolverine as like let me bounce around and do some damage and throw some people, and like I'm not really using him as like hoping to kill people with him, but more so using him to like do some tick damage across the table and be like a surprise factor. Like, hey, I'm in your backline now.
You're putting objectives on him, or is he just like
If I have the opportunity to, yeah.
causing trouble? Okay. Well,
And then Sabretooth is
mean,
like the clapback king.
Yes.
I don't know.
He's not
Logan-
Ronin, but he's
Logan
cool.
the Wolverine is one of the most fun models to play in the game, like hands down.
Yeah, he is really fun to
Yeah,
play.
but Logan can't clap back.
Wolverine?
Yeah.
No. Like on your turn? No.
Yeah, so neither of the Wolverines can do that.
That's the Sabretooth.
Yeah.
Sabretooth can do that.
Yeah, I
But
said
like
Sabretooth is
Apex,
the clapback king.
Apex is also extremely fun.
Yeah, but they're not affiliated.
Yeah, no, you're not. I'm not saying they are. I'm just like for the comparison between the
Yeah.
two versions of the characters. Apex is just more fun for me.
So like, I feel like Wolverine and Sabretooth are getting you affiliation.
They really are.
Oh,
that
wow.
is their tool. Like you have
Ouch.
to take Saber. You have to take both. You very rarely take both of them nowadays, but
Yes.
sometimes you do. Like that 17, I think is actually really good because like you're
Yeah.
threatening so much.
After splashing Sabretooth, I've come to the realization of how much more I like having exceptional for a single model, because it makes your opponent so much less inclined to attack that single model than when you're spreading that out.
Yeah.
And they're just trying to burn exceptional as quickly as possible.
That's true. But like as far as like their purpose in the roster, very much is like you need like at least one of them for affiliation. Yes.
Yeah, and for your 17, you actually need them both.
Yep.
So I guess I can't. I mean, maybe you'll get lucky and Psylocke will make all your dreams come true.
I really hope so. And to the haters out there saying that she might not be affiliated, you're freaking crazy because she's in almost every single X Force run. Like, if she is not X Force related, I will like hand write Pagani a message.
If
and
she's
ask
not
him
X Force
why.
affiliate, that means she would be like she would only be X Men.
No, Psylocke is she's absolutely gonna be X Force, right?
Oh yeah,
Like, that's just
absolutely.
yeah.
But there's people that are doubting it, and I'm like, why? Like, she's literally
Well,
in like
'cause,
almost
yeah.
every single X Force run.
Almost every incarnation of X Force. Yeah, if Deadpool is an X Force, then she certainly
Yeah,
should be.
absolutely.
Okay.
All right, you got anything else?
Yeah. So I wrote a little question
Okay.
letter to your roster. I said, "Dear aggressive roster, when aren't you the beatdown, and what do you do when you aren't?"
So when aren't you the beatdown? Mags, and what's funny is like this list can actually be like very objective. You just play it cagey, and like you go turtle up, and you have this thing called Fortress Emo.
Okay. Yeah. So I'm starting to feel that this is not just like like this is like a main MCP strategy. Maybe we should like spend an episode on it one day. But like this, like basically like go grab your stuff and then retreat back to Fort Kickass or whatever you want to call it, is like a major part of this game. And whoever is able to do that has such a tremendous advantage. And
Yeah.
like when both play, like basically it's like both players can't do that, right? Like if both players are doing it, like the only chance is like when you have actual parity happening, right? So like you're both just scoring 4, and that's just going to be like what it is until one of us does something.
I mean, like imagine
Or gets
for
really
me,
unlucky.
imagine for me if you will. Like if I'm going to take a Mags team, I am not winning
Yeah.
that attrition race. Like I can't.
You gotta believe in yourself, buddy.
No, but what you do is like let's say like granted this like relies a lot on prio, but you eyes on the prize with Bill, you grab the far extract, you come back, and you grab something else and you come back, and then you're sitting literally with up on extracts with Cable doing cable shield, Tebow providing rear rolls, Bill on the front line, like you and then you have exceptional online too with, let's say 23, like you kind of
So,
just
I mean,
turtle up.
You're grabbing one thing one time, right? So Eyes is going to get you one, and then
Mm-hmm.
your next guy's kind of hung out to dry though. Like let's take Paranoia for example.
Mm-hmm.
You grab one safely, but then how do you get that second one without leaving that model out to dry?
Because your fortress is like able to reach because of range. Cat and mouse is what you do. And 23 spender. Because 23 can spender and grab something and move.
Ah, okay.
That's
Right.
my
Blessed
response.
healing too.
So-
Yeah.
You need a little bit of consent from your opponent then.
You do,
Right, like
but
gonna bring
you're
someone
kind of
up.
almost forcing their hand at the same time.
Yeah. Okay, that's interesting. Yeah. That's... Well, okay. Well, are dice a concern for you? I know
Absolutely,
you've
it's
got
X
Zemo,
Force.
you've got X-23, you've got your leadership. Like, you got a good stack of them, but like, an unlucky chunk of skulls.
No, it happens. It absolutely happens, and it has cost me games. But like that's just MCP. Like dice are always
Fair
concerned
enough.
in MCP.
If it's your day, it's your day.
If it's your day, it's your day. All right. All right. So if anybody wants to hear more about X Force and this roster and what it ends up looking like, I think I might actually take Bullseye back out for Colossus and face me for fastball. Like I'm going back to that route. And Sword might come back up from Meteors. I like that play a lot. Um,
If you drop Bullseye for Colossus,
mhm.
and we being in the four threat renaissance that we're in, if Psylocke comes out, she's a four threat. Does she come in on the Deadpool spot? Like,
I think she's going to be a 3. You know, like I think she should be a 3 because she's nothing crazy. But let's say in the magical world that is AMG, she comes in as a 4. She still takes that Deadpool slot. Like,
and then you've
like
got like
it's
what, five fours?
1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, who cares?
Okay.
Yeah, it's their
Get this one
toolboxes.
out. Yeah. All
They're
right. Fair enough.
4x4. It might actually be. No. 5 4s. 5 4s is fine because look at like what are you flexing? You're gonna flex 23 pyro Zemo. Like it doesn't matter. Like your flex slot is your 4 slot, which is why it's better to have more 4s because you can like actually like build for your scenario. Like Draz said, Cable is in his opinion designed around making your 4s more effective, and I agree.
Well,
Yeah,
all right.
she comes out, she's probably replacing Deadpool. I don't need 2
Mm.
3s. 2
You're,
3s.
she's gonna be a 4 though, or you're good with that though.
I'm fine
Yeah,
with that.
if she
she's a
has
4,
martial artist, she's gonna love Cable.
Bonus dice loves martial artist. She's got to be a
Mhm.
martial artist, right?
She's
I mean,
a
she was a
fucking
ninja.
or
Yeah.
not was is yeah.
Yeah, she's a
Ooh,
ninja.
Maybe she gets master martial artist.
Oh,
Oh
she
my
has like
stealth-
Iron Fist. If
Stealth
she has
Master
Iron
would be
Fist,
so gross, bro. Stealth Master? Nuh-uh, come on now.
I don't need
Stealth Master?
3s.
No.
Craig, I don't
You
need
can't
3s when
hit
I
me.
have 5 4s. You're not wrong, Craig.
Need 5 4s.
You could run
Stealth.
20. You could run
I
all
thought about
5s.
like when I was thinking about what I thought Psylocke would be. I thought about Stealth Master for half a second before like they wouldn't do that.
No, that'd be
They
too
sh-
good.
they wouldn't do that.
You can't hit me, or I count blanks. You make
Yeah, you can't hit me or I'm ridiculous. Yeah, no, thank you,
All right.
please not.
Well, let's go ahead and move into the listener questions. We got the King of Slaps, aka Right Mad, aka Ben. My listener question is, how come we don't talk about slaps more often? And my answer to that is because he is not here to grace us with a slap.
I got to play Ben at LVO. He was
He's such a
my
hoot.
last boss of the day. He was a super fun opponent. That was so fun. If you ever get a chance to play the man, go for it. Do it.
Absolutely. All right, Heavenator. As a
Also-
filthy casual, have you done any ultimate encounters yet?
Hell yeah.
Yes. Hyper.
I played one at LVO. Yeah,
There you go. We've all done an
Yeah.
ultimate encounter.
me and
They're
my
fun.
buddies all got drunk in my fucking room and we played Symbiotes last day at LVO before I went home.
There you go. All right.
I
love
proxied
Lon-
Bill. I played Bill for the
I
first
keep
time
Thanos
there.
with me most weeks, just in case we wind up with like a weird number of people.
Just so you feel like Power Thanos.
Yeah. I mean, just because I'm not a huge fan of where Thanos is in the game right now doesn't mean his ultimate encounter is not super fun to play him.
Oh, goodness. All right, now for the long one. Mathematic. Should AMG split Avengers and Cabal? And if so, should they be? What should they be split into?
Cabal just
my-
shouldn't exist.
Cabal's just like an easy like shoe in for bad guys.
No, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like it. The only reason it exists is because Avengers exist, right?
I don't necessarily think they should get rid of it though, just because of the fact that like it's easy for people who are just getting into the game and want to like have some place to go to.
Yeah, it is. It's the core box bad guys. I get that.
Yeah.
And they just throw people in there when it's just like a wacky character like Malekith. It's like, oh, let's make him Cabal. It's fine.
Yeah. Like it's kind of like a necessary evil. Like
Yeah. And Avengers, I would say Avengers is a much weirder place because everyone's an Avenger. I don't know. They could do like different generations of Avengers, but the problem is that everyone's been in different generations of the Avengers.
Maybe it's too crunchy, but I would like to see every leader have their own affiliation list.
Ooh, that'd be cool.
That's that's how I think you break up the fleet.
Yeah, because
In my
like
opinion, maybe it's too crunchy, right? Because and like people people make affiliation problems for themselves all the time.
yeah, because
So
like a
like,
for example, Magneto hates Sabretooth, so Sabretooth can be Brotherhood, but he's Mystique Brotherhood only. I like that a lot.
right? So like he's Mystique brother. It doesn't mean you can't bring him under Magneto. It just means that
He won't be
like he's
affiliated,
not
yeah.
affiliated. He's a splash piece for you then. So like you could bring Sam and Steve in Avengers, but like maybe Steve's not affiliated under Sam, but Sam is affiliated under Steve.
Yeah,
Like weird, like you could get like real granular
that'd be.
if you wanted to,
That sounds incredibly complicated.
right? Too crunchy, like I said,
Mhm.
but I think that it would feel very thematic. It would just be kind of hard to track, right? So like another one that's an obvious one for me is like Malekith would have his own subset of Cabal.
Yeah, it's all the
baddies
Asgardian
instead
bad
of
guys.
Everyone, right? So
Mhm.
it's not like Malekith and Zemo, infinite cosmic threat. It's Malekith and Enchantress and Scourge, infinite cosmic threats, and Ulik, kind of a thing. That's what I'd like.
That's fair. All right. If AMG ever does a 2.0, what are some big changes you would like to see, and what would you like to see preserved?
Wait, sorry, one more time.
If AMG ever did a 2.0, what are some big changes you would like to see, and what would you like to see preserved?
I don't think I want a 2.0 right now. I
think
like
the
this
game's
game.
actually in a really good spot where it's at.
If anything, like the only like 2.0 would be some characters getting touched up the way they did with the first card pack, like give Colossus a character throw and stuff like that. Aside from that, no, I don't think a relaunch is at all necessary. This game is still like relatively so young.
I would
it's
like
too
to see
soon
like
for a
almost
2.0.
everything preserved. Personally, like
Yeah.
if there's a 2.0, I don't think that there's much.
Just
of a
add
change.
more
I think
stuff,
it's-
yeah.
It's just kind of like a
Clean up the
reskinning
wording.
more so than it's anything, right? Like clean up, like standardize. So what do I want to see change? Like let's standardize stuff everywhere that it should be standardized. Like if you don't want Storm to have stealth, that's fine. It's okay that you call it something else and make it effectively stealth, so that it's not like what marked for death a bull. Like sure,
Yeah.
I'm okay with that. But like when it's literally the same effect, card after card after card after card, like just call it the same thing. which I think they're doing more of now in general.
Well, they could do like, the thematic name, so like she's the whatever, and then in parentheses it just says stealth, right?
Stealth,
That'd be fine.
yeah. That would be fair. I'd be okay with that. I mean, honestly, I'd like to see something. I just like the affiliation document is a living document. There's no reason that can't get more attention.
Omega Red for X Force.
Come on, make it happen. And Weapon X. He should totes be in both.
At least X Force.
It's fine.
He's actually like canonically
I mean,
like
at
part
least
of X
Weapon
Force. All right. You got anything else you want to hit on tonight?
LVO was fun. Thanks for saying hi, folks. I was shocked at how many people recognized me by mostly my voice, so I appreciate you. If you came and said hi, you're a good person. I appreciate you.
All right.
Yeah. Draz in the chat says standard set of non-character tactics cards and everything else is character cards. Yeah, like there's still room to go on the tactic stuff. I think that I think it was at LVO. I don't remember who I was talking with, but I was just thinking about like team tactics, and it's like the team tactics like straight out of the core set in a core set environment or like a new player environment. Having that big old fat stack of tactics cards is awesome because you're like, oh, I can just like switch or change these, play whatever I want with them, and then like the further you go into the game, the deeper you get, the bigger your collection is. It's like, man, I just wish these were all like character and affiliated cards with like a very, 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 very select few of unaffiliated cards that can be taken anywhere.
Yeah.
So that'd be cool.
All right. With that, we have been the Rogue Agents, and you have been the listener.
Perfectly balanced, as all things should be.
Maximum effort. In this war, there's no surrender.
He's out of line, but he's right. Who the hell is Bucky? You don't like a fair fight.
I think you're wrong. Which part? All of it.
Think you're the only superhero in the world?
Touche.